Hi, everyone. Mitch from PickDawgz.com. I'm here with Big Al, Jay Briggs, Jovan, and Rod Zawacki. I don't know if anyone else is coming or not, but doesn't matter. We'll be going over NFL Sunday Week 2, maybe a little bit of baseball also, depending on how the show goes. But, of course, coming off of college football Week 3, I got to say it was a mixed day as far as results went for me. But, man, what a great day of games. I mean, those games were awesome. I mean, there were some really good games. And I think what we saw in all of the games outside of Syracuse-Purdue is that they weren't decided by the referees. I mean, Syracuse-Purdue was totally decided by the referees. For, I think, the first time in my life, I was on the right side of all of the monkey business. But everything else, I thought were a bunch of great games. I mean, Miami lost. I think we had our chances. I think we didn't take advantage of them. And, we totally beat the crap out of them statistically and in every which way, up and down the field. Blew up their blocking, with rushing just 4 guys, just dominated them in every area of the game except on the scoreboard where it counts. Fumbled punt and 2 missed field goals, and that's how you lose a football game on the road. Cannot do that. You can double up their yards like we did. You can see their rag arm crap-ass quarterback go 10 of 20 passing and just be running for his life all night long, and with just 4 guys rushing. And you miss those field goals, you fumble that punt on the road, not going to win. And really, that's what it all came down to. But so be it. We move on, and I don't think anyone was expecting anything from my Canes. Al, what did you think of college football yesterday?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even remember it right now. I watched a few games, and I enjoyed watching them. And, right now my brain is sort of in a fog. I can't even recall what I watched. So,
how about you, Jay? How was your day yesterday?
Actually, rough day yesterday, but it was some good games on yesterday. Seen a few teams bounce back, seen a few teams disappoint. Normal Saturday, back on the horse today. My favorite day of the week, NFL Sunday. Ready to get it.
How about you, Jovan? How's it going?
Well, it's going okay. Yesterday was a mixed bag. Started off blazing, ended off in a whimper. So it was a 5-5-1 performance. So I got juiced. One of those things. Yeah, the late night games are, especially the Miami game, that was painful to watch as far as them moving up and down the field, but then stalling each time. Just shooting themselves in the foot. I wanted them to be more aggressive. That's my only gripe with them offensively, because they could have gotten the end zone a couple times. They was conservative. I mean, I'm not saying like as far as like they was going down the field, just wasn't connecting. But like in 4th down situations, there was a couple of those where they should have went for it.
They looked a little out of sync. The Canes did in that game. And I think it's all just part of the process. It's early in the season. I think they play again next year in Miami. I'd pretty much bet my life savings that Miami absolutely slaughters them if Van Dyke comes back. It was a complete domination. Jimbo Fisher is just not a very good football coach. And I just, as a Miami fan, really, really tough when you beat them, and you beat them. And it's like, comes down to, Miami fumbling a punt and Texas A&M fumbling a punt and being able to recover it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Rod, how about you? How was yesterday for you?
It wasn't bad. I had a 4-4 day in the premium area. A bunch of free plays came. Liberty kept it close there. Almost got the outright win. How about the App State bomb to win it at the end? Last second Hail Mary. They ran that one in to get the win there late. Troy got the cover though. Texas late, taking away and pulling away from UTSA. Kind of figured they would do that. But well, there's some great games yesterday. I enjoyed it. Excited for today's action too. Definitely got some great games in the NFL today.
Yeah, I got them early too. I got hit late at those late games also. Kind of happens. And then I also had a card full of games that I crossed off that because I felt I had too many games where I would say went about 7-2 on those games. So that's what really hurt Kansas and Liberty and, went on Tennessee, went on and on and on. I had so many of those. I was like, well, and that's the nature of the beast. Live and learn. Next week, I'm just going to put picks on all the games. Anyways, let's go to NFL week 2. Get this thing started. We head to Baltimore, where the Ravens are taking on the Dolphins. Last year, these teams met, and it was Miami. In Miami, this was the Lamar Jackson had to go to the bathroom, pulled himself out of the game. Al, you think Lamar takes care of business at maybe before the game and halftime, or you think we see a repeat of last year? Muted.
Sorry. Yeah, still trying to get my wits about me today, as I told Javon earlier. In this game, I think this is sort of a contrarian play for me. Both teams had strong defensive performances to open up the season. Baltimore held the Jets to 9. Miami held New England to 7. The knee-jerk reaction might be for a lot of people to look for a similar outcome in week 2. I think, when I handicap week 2 compared to week 1, I look at a lot of situations to reverse. I like this to be a high-scoring game. I like it to be an over. And when you take a look at over the last 42 years, how teams do when games do when teams held their opponents to less than 10 points in week 1, they go over the total 83% of the time when both teams did that in week 1. So I think this one's going to be a surprisingly high-scoring game. I'm going to take the over.
Jay?
I like the Dolphins here in this game plus the points. The Baltimore Ravens, their offense, I'm not a believer in their wide receiver group right now. And this Miami Dolphins team is still a defensive-led football team in my book. I know they have probably one of the best wide receiver duos over there in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But
up against the best corner duo in Baltimore with
but
Peters. So,
but the secondary they're injured, they're hurt. I don't know. A lot of those guys aren't playing today for Baltimore secondary, so it just doesn't seem like a good spot to take Baltimore here. So I'm going to lean to the Dolphins.
How about you, Jovan? Muted.
It's
mute day.
Yeah.
Where's El Ninos when you need him?
I'm wavering on the total in this one, but if I had to, given everything that happened last week, and the tough thing about it is I'll lean over, but looking at Miami's offense last week, they only scored 20 points, against a strong Patriots defense. But I just think in this one they're going to give up their defense is going to give up some points. And I'm not going to say they're going to be chasing points. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout like that or anything like that, but I think when it's all said and done, it could get over. It's at what's that 45 and a half right now. I think it gets just barely gets over that. So that's my take on it.
I'm showing 44. Rod.
Down to 44?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take the over then.
Rod.
Yeah, for me, I like the over here as well. Everybody thinks that it's going to jump on the under, and because you look at all the trends today that this game should go under, but I'm not touching it to go under. You look at the Jets. If the Jets can pass 297 yards of pass against Baltimore last week, what can the Dolphins offense do that we know is way better than the Jets against that?
They also
Baltimore
threw
defense.
the ball 70
times.
times.
297 yards. They're lucky they only gave up 9 points. Correct, right? So when you look to pass the ball great, he's hitting 70% of his passes. And you look at the last 4 meetings, 3-1 to this over. So I agree with Big Al. Give me the over here. I like this over. I think we see a whole bunch of points in this one today.
All right, we go to the next game on the card. Speaking of the JETS the Jetropolitans here, we've got the Jets taking on the Cleveland Browns. This one in Cleveland, mistake by the lake. I'm seeing 6s in this game, but listed 6.5, but I'm seeing it coming down to 6. Once again, the Sharps love Jets. They just really love getting their ass kicked. Out. I mean, to me, I see Joe Flacco. I see Myles Garrett. This is not a good thing for the Jets. You know, I just don't see how he completes one of his 85 passes today. I don't see how he does it at all. Like, I don't see, unless what are they going to triple team this guy? Because, I mean, the Ravens were in the backfield all day against Flacco last week. I don't know. This guy is the best defensive end in the game.
Is the total still sitting at 39.5 right now?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll take the under. When you get totals this low in week 2, 117 and 61 under, as long as it's 39.5 or less, that's pretty significant. You know, the line has crept down from the opener, so now that it's at 39.5, I like the under.
What do you think about these? Like when the sharp seem to like jump on these bad teams.
I mean, you see that a lot because over the years, but I don't really care about it as far as week 1, week 2, whatever. But when you get those teams that go 0-8 to start the year, the Detroit Lions, I think both of us recall a few years ago, the Cleveland Browns from a few years ago. When you get those type of situations, and you see a lot of the sharps going back to the same team over and over and over again, I think you tend to see that a lot. I don't really concern myself with what other sharps are doing. I only concern myself with what I'm doing. So I'm not on the Jets this week.
All right, Jay.
I'm going to have to agree with the Big Al. I like the under here in this game. This might be the worst quarterback matchup that we see all season between Jacoby Brissett and Joe Flacco. Two guys who won't be starting for much of the season this season. When Deshaun Watson gets back for the Browns and Zach Wilson gets back healthy for the Jets, I just don't see a lot of scoring here. Only way I see some scoring is really if the Browns put the ball on the ground, which I think they will. But I think the Jets defense holds up a little more. They didn't really allow the Ravens to run all over them last week. It was really more Lamar's arm last week that did a lot of the damage. So I see them playing this run game a little better than most people are thinking, and I think we slide right underneath the under here in this game.
Jovan?
Yeah, earlier in the week when I was looking at this game, I was thinking that this was too many points. The bigger the point spread, the more I'm going to look at or take a strong look at the underdog. But then you start looking at the personnel. Joe Flacco at the helm. Yeah, I can't do it to myself. You have a two-headed monster and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt running the ball. And I think they get it done on the ground. And I think that there's a whole lot of, let's just say that the Jets, I don't think they're going to score much in this one. So if they're not going to score much, they're not going to cover. Give me the Browns.
Rod?
And for me in this one, I like the under. You look at the offense of the Jets, and you look at the offense of the Browns as well. And for me, I think the defense has stepped up and shine in this game, and that's what, just like Big Al says, the total is this low for a reason. It's got 17-14 written all over it. So I'm gonna take the under. Well, you look at the Jets, 6-2 to that under their last 8 on the road versus a team with a winning home record. And the Browns 6-0 at home versus a team with a losing record. So I like this under. Maybe the under 39.5.
I don't know. I don't think we saw the turnover machine that we all know the Jets can be last week, and I think that they're just saving it. I don't know what you guys are looking at, but I saw Nick Chubb run all over a way better defense than what he's facing here. He seriously, if they would have given him the ball 4 or 5 more times, he had worn those guys down so much in Carolina in that game that nobody even wanted to watch. It was really I was in the sports book, and they even had it in the bottom corner. The thing is that he ran roughshod over those Panthers. I could only imagine what the bull in the China shop's going to do to these guys. It's going to be ugly. That Jet defense is going to be on the field an awful long time. And when you have a guy like this, Oh man, he's one of those backs who just gets tougher and tougher as the game goes on. And then you put that Kareem Hunt in there. There are these like little dip passes. They don't even make Brissett really throw the ball down the field. They have Amari Cooper who can stretch the field, but they don't even throw him the ball. And they have Njoku, and they don't throw him the ball either. They just give it to this guy every single play, which is what I would do if I had him also. I would just say, I'm just not even going to – it's like I don't have a good quarterback. I'm just going to hand this guy the ball every single play. I'm going to take my chances. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. I don't know how many offensive plays they had, but my guess is he touched the ball 50% of them or more. That's what I would do. I agree with them 100%. Go to our next game. Detroit Lions are favored at home here against the Commanders. The Lions came roaring through the back door last week for the cover against the Eagles. The Commanders showed some moxie after blowing the lead and really the game against the Jaguars. Came back and actually won this thing. Al, worst name in the NFL, the Commanders visiting, well, one of the worst teams in the NFL over the last 25 years, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I know when we did our NFL podcast earlier this week, Mitch, you mentioned that Detroit hadn't been favored in a while, and that's absolutely true. I think you go back, it's been since 2020 since they were favored. They were favored 4 times that season. They did go 2-2 ATS that year as a favorite. Going back to 2014, Detroit is 20-21 ATS as a favorite. So they're not, incredibly awful when they are installed as a favorite. So that's perhaps a good sign. Long term, they're at home when they're off an ATS loss like they were last week. They're 48-38 ATS at home as a favorite off an ATS loss. I'm going to take Detroit here. I like the fact that they showed some spunk last week, came back against Philly. They scored 35 points in that loss. And teams off high-scoring single-digit losses where they scored 35 or more points, they've covered the spread 58% of the time over the last 42 years. I'm going to take Detroit minus the points.
Jake?
Yeah, man, this is another game that didn't make the premium or didn't do nothing like that. I really don't plan on watching this one, but I do plan on leaning towards the Detroit Lions here in this one. I like what their offense showed me last week. The offense showed me last week that they can keep them in some games. Jared Goff had a pretty good outing, but I love that running game they got back there with DeAndre Swift. I think that he's questionable right now, but I think he does go today. I think he gives them a good outing out of the backfield. And Washington, man, they should have lost their game last week. I'm not high on that Washington team at all. When you play the Jags that close and almost lose to them at home, it just really doesn't bode well in my book. Carson Wentz, we know what he is. I'm going to lean with Detroit here at home. I think that they can get it done. I think they're favorite here for the first time in a while for a reason, and I think that they get the win.
Rod, DeAndre Swift, a lot better than the guy that you bashed on draft day. Still hate DeAndre Swift?
I don't hate him, but I'm just thinking what he would do on if he was on somewhere else other than Detroit. But for me here, this one I like Detroit as well. Detroit at home has been a scrappy bunch and solid bunch. 5-0 ATS their last 5 home games. And you look at this Washington team, and you look at Washington 0-4 their last 4 meetings in Detroit. Home team 5-1 ATS the last 6 meetings. Detroit State, their favorite for a reason. They get the win. Give me Detroit.
Jovan.
And Swift runs one in. So take Swift to get an anytime touchdown too.
Yeah, so I expect one of these teams to get out to an early lead, a sizable lead, and for the other team to catch up, and then it becomes a back and forth affair. So I like the over in this one. You're going to see a lot of Detroit games going over, and I think this holds true to form to last week's game, which went way over.
El Ninos, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. Unfortunately, it's on this wonderful game here, which, man, I don't have much of an opinion on. But, yeah, I guess I'd lean to the Lions at home. I mean, it's definitely not a game I'm betting, though.
Go to our next game. We've got the Jaguars taking on the Colts, and this is an odd one here because the Jaguars have absolutely owned the Colts, especially in Jacksonville. They beat them outright every single time, too. It's not just they haven't just been covering spreads. They beat them outright. And the pressure here is on the Jags with the money coming in on them. And it's like, do we have a team that just has got a team's number, or is this turned into a very, very public dog like the Jags were last week? Oh man, this is a tough game. I tell you, I'm not putting one penny on this game. Al, what do you think?
I think I might join you by not putting a penny on this game. I think this is a horrible game to bet on. With a gun to my head, I'm going to lay the points, especially now that it's down to 3 instead of 4 when we talked earlier in the week. So there's a little bit more value on the Colts today than there was on Wednesday. Take a look at how winless road favorites do when they were not an underdog in the previous game. They've done quite well, almost 66% ATS long term. So I'll take Indianapolis -3 with a gun to my head, but it's bottom of the barrel.
Michael Pittman out for this one for the Colts too. But,
you just reminded me I have to get him off my fantasy roster.
Well, like Mitch said, man, I'm not falling in this trap. Early in the week when we did our podcast, I said I was on the Jags. I'm completely 180. I'm not falling in this public dog trap that they're trying to make us fall in. I know that the stat is actually the Jags have won 7 straight games against the Colts in Jacksonville, which is kind of crazy going back 7 years. I think the Colts in that today. I like Matt Ryan. He's a veteran quarterback. He's better than Carson Wentz was last year, and he's better than Phillip Rivers the year before. We have an actual veteran here under center today. And let's not forget, they have the best running back arguably in the league back there behind center. I think they run the ball. I think they run it all down the Jags' throat. I think it's going to be ugly. I think a lot of people humping up on the Jags today, and people forget just how good this Colts team can be. I'm going to lay the points with the Colts, man.
Rod?
And for me in this one, I'm gonna take the over just for that reason. You look at the Colts; they got 500 yards of offense last week and only scored 20 points. Seems a little light to me. So, and you look the Jags. We know they can score some points and put some points up as well. So I like the over here. You look at the Colts 5-2 to the over following an ATS loss. So, and the Jags 6-2 to that over in week 8. The over is also 5-2 in the Jags last 7 at home versus a team with a losing road record. I like the over here. I think we see some points in this one. Both offenses can put up points. Give me the over 43.5 in this one.
Al, I forgot to ask you, what's the name of your fantasy team?
It's Baseline Bums. It's a reference to the San Antonio Spurs fan group from the – well, they still exist today, but they were really a rabid fan group back in the old Hemisphere Arena in the 1970s.
Nice.
What's yours? Or you probably
I don't play anymore, but I was always the Bipolar Bears, and before that, my friend Pete already has the best name taken, Damone's 7-point plan. I think it's Damone's 5-point plan or whatever it was. It's so good. It's like it's really everyone gets it.
Yeah, I
play
think
side 2 of Led Zeppelin 4.
I think one of the things everyone hates is when people talk about their own fantasy teams. Like nobody gives a shit, right?
Oh yeah. To me, it's like I don't play fantasy and I haven't in a very long time. So there's nothing worse than watching a game or an NFL Sunday with a person that does play fantasy but doesn't bet on the games. It's really tough for me. It's like this guy scored it. Oh yeah, I got a touchdown. Oh, but I got this in my other league. I got this defense in my other league. Oh, but I got the quarterback, and that's it's like how many leagues is this guy in? You know, it's like you're just sitting there. It's like can't do it. I just don't have the time for the fantasy anymore.
Right? He gets all mad. They get all mad because they own the one guy that scores the touchdown. I don't have that one guy. Why did he get the touchdown? It's no good.
Melvin Gordon getting the death threats. Nick Chubb getting the death threats. Jovan, what do you got?
Yeah, it's going to be raining and windy down in Jacksonville. So with that said, the coach will be well served in running the ball heavy with Jonathan Taylor and Hines, the backup. No Michael Pittman. And I flip-flopped on this game all week, but I'm gonna land on Indy to get the job done. You know, like Big Al said, it's at -3, and that's just the point where I'll take the favorite in this one. You know, regardless of what Jacksonville's been doing to them in the past, I'm gonna run with the Colts.
Al Ninos.
Yeah, another beauty here to continue. But I think I'm slightly into the over in this one. Just two terrible defenses. It's not the best offenses in the league either, but I think they might get going a little bit here. So I'll lean to the over, and I might take a shot on the Jaguars money line, but again, nothing I'm going crazy about.
Go to the next game, and in this one, we've got the Saints and the Buccaneers. This one's super interesting because the Saints generally play the Bucs really, really tough. Overall, the Bucs back-to-back road games here after winning the game in Dallas, and Alvin Kamara not playing for the Saints, who is their best player. Al, what do you think?
Well, I like this one under the total a good deal. It's a divisional game. It's got a competitively priced point spread of 2.5. Both teams are winning teams. I mean, these are all the ingredients for games to go under. 55% unders over the last 42 years, and we're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. I also have a really good total system on the game. I'm trying to see what the record is. It's 129 and 69 under the total as well, and that's a week 2 totals angle. So I'm going to look at this game to go under the total.
Jay?
I'm looking at the Saints here, man. I watched the complete game last week of the Tampa Bay Bucs against my Cowboys, and that offense just wasn't. It didn't give me anything to fear. Especially that offensive line. The Tampa Bay Bucs offensive line really has a lot of struggles. They only have one guy who's coming back from last year, and even he's questionable to play today and worse. A division rivalry. The New Orleans Saints have won 7 straight regular season games against the Bucs, 4 with Brady being there. I think this is a bad spot for the Bucs on the road in New Orleans. That building is going to be rocking. This team is a division rivalry. They're not afraid of this team at all. Jameis Winston and their offense got the rolling late in that game. They were down to the Falcons. I thought that game was over. Jameis got on that horse and led them back all the way and stole the game in the end. I like the Saints to win this game here outright against the Bucs and keep that regular season win streak against them going.
That NFC South is always pretty much a fun division, those games. It's way underrated. Rod?
And for me in this one, I'm going to go the other way. I know Brady is 0-4 his last 4 versus the Saints. That changes today. I think the Bucs get the win. Everybody's over enamored and going to be all over the Saints. And Brady can't do it in the dome. Brady can't do it in the dome against the Saints. And he does it here.
The odd thing is that Brady throughout his career,
field goal.
Throughout his career, Brady has these teams and these scenarios that he can't crack. It's like he could beat everything and do everything, but like put him in Miami on like Sunday night or something. He just can't, just forgets everything he ever knew about football. Jovan?
Bucs.
Yeah,
Bucs 5-0. ATS last 5 in week 2. Saints 0-5 in week 2.
It's amazing that the Bucs scheduled the Lions every week in week 2. I'm just kidding. and the Saints played the Patriots every year. And they were on the road all those games. It's tough to say that one week has any bearing to the next, especially when you have a different coach too. Both these teams.
It's actually 1 year too in the next year.
Well, they both have different coaches.
Correct.
I don't know. Sometimes it works that way too. Who the hell knows? Believe me, the NFL is the hardest sport in the world, and NFL and NBA. They will make you feel stupid on any given moment. Whenever just when you think you have it figured out, the Warriors lose to by 50 to the Timberwolves or something.
But New Orleans is 14-27-1 ATS in week 2. I just looked that up just for just to, give Rod something more.
14-27. So that would be
14-27 and 180.
42 years. Archie Manning. You think Archie Manning was a little overrated as quarterback? He was like one of those guys that was always like, oh, he's so good. He's so good. He's so good. He's always on a bad team. Then they trade him to Houston, right? And he stinks again. Like they stink again. All of a sudden, it's like he goes there and they stink again. It's like, maybe you stink, Maybe that's part of the problem. Jovan, what do you think here?
So I was leaning under in this one, but if you look at the last 10 games, the majority of these games, the total has been set at or ended at anywhere from 48 to 53. A couple 40, like maybe 45 and a half and 46. But, now we're dealing with, I believe, 43 and a half. And I just think at the end of the day, the way the league is right now, in this particular game, I think it might go over the total. I think it gets to 45, so I'm going to take the over.
Alninos, we're talking about the Saints versus Bucs.
Oh, no, this is a game I definitely like a lot. I like this game a lot. And I'm agree with Big Al on this total. I like it to stay under here. I think it's going to be a competitive game. No Alvin Kamara. It looks like they're not expecting him to play. So I don't see Jameis Winston generating. I mean, I don't see him getting much offense going here against this Bucs defense that's still very good, and the Saints defense is improved as well. So I like this game to stay under the total.
The Giants taking on the Panthers. The Giants winners last week, and I think I have to say this about the Giants, and I haven't said anything nice to say about this team in a very, very long time. Straight guts to go for it on 2 and just say, you know what? Let's play to win, not to not lose, go to overtime and all that stuff. It's like we got a chance to come into on the road and beat a team that finished with the best record in the AFC last year. Let's take a shot at it. They're not stopping us running it up the middle, so why not? And, they got a lot of breaks in that game. They took advantage of a lot of them, and some they didn't. Daniel Jones threw that interception after the muffed punt into the end zone. And they still won the game. Saquon Barkley fumbles on a breakaway run. The ball rolls out of bounds for him. These are the things that happen in NFL games. And, give the Giants all the credit in the world. But they're favored here against the Panthers, who haven't covered a spread in half a year. In a half a season, the Panthers have not covered a point spread. 8 in a row. This is like the Ravens preseason win streak that they're starting here, but really the opposite direction. And then I believe on the road and the Giants at home, I think the Giants favorite as home favorites, which you don't see them, we haven't seen them favored too many times over recent years. Once again, just a ridiculous streak going on, like a half a dozen games or better. Al, what do you think?
Well, going back to last week, the only thing I hate about them going for 2. I don't hate the decision really, but the only thing you have to bear in mind is that you're also now incentivizing the team. If you do make it and you're up 21-20, you're incentivizing the team that's now down by a point instead of the game being tied. Now they can play with 4 downs on their possession instead of 3 downs. So that's a big, decision really to do. And there was still 2 minutes left in the game as opposed to 25 seconds. When there's 25 seconds and a team may only have 3 plays anyway,
but you have the lead. But you got the lead.
No, I know you've got the lead, but you only have a 50% chance of getting the lead on a 2-point conversion. So when you take a look at it, you have a 50-50 chance in overtime as well. So now you're still, just by incentivizing the other team that they will have to go for it if you're up by a point. That to me is the downside risk of the play. I think it's one of those plays that if you suck like the Giants, you're not, expected to win 10 games on the season. I think you just do those kinds of things. But I think if you're a team that's expected to make the playoffs, you probably want to limit those kinds of risky decisions and just, play for overtime. Anyway, I just thought there's a lot of time left on the clock for a team to be making that decision. I would have probably kicked the extra point and just play defense, but that's beside the point. I'm glad they did it. So as far as this game goes, this is probably my third favorite total of the week. My first two are probably the Saints and the Browns to go under, but I'm going to look at this game to go under as well. The New York Giants, just crazy. They're now 12-0 under the total. Their last 12 home games, 8-0 under their last 8 home openers going back to 2014. I'll take this one under the total as well.
What do you have for sale today at PickDawgz?
Yesterday, we're 4-4 in football, but 0-1 in baseball. So I had a 6-game baseball win streak snapped yesterday. I had the Phillies, so that was disappointing. But 4-4 yesterday. I had my strongest play was on Ohio State. That was a rocking chair winner, so that was a nice play. That was my favorite of the month. Today, I've got some really nice plays at PickDawgz. On a 61-38 run, I've got 6 plays in the NFL today, 1 play in baseball as we look to bounce back off that baseball loss.
Jay Briggs, Jake Odorizzi beating the Phillies yesterday. I would say the Phillies are done. They can be in the playoffs all you want. You can't beat Jake Odorizzi. You are not going nowhere. Jay Briggs.
Yeah, I'm going to lean towards the Giants here in this one. I think that running game with Saquon Barkley gets going a little bit more today. Saquon Barkley is a top 5 running back in the league. It's just a matter of can he stay healthy? Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Can he stay healthy this season? On the other side, man, Carolina really let me down last week, man. You go down and take the lead, and then you allow Jacoby Brissett to lead his team down to a game-winning field goal drives. That's just deflating. So I'm going to lean.
Admission by Jay that he actually watched that game.
So I'm going to take the Giants here. I think that they run the ball here on the Panthers. The Panthers offense, I thought Baker would have a little more. He looked lackluster. I think he throws maybe a pick 6 here today, and I see the Giants winning this one late. I think their coach has them playing on they have a new little funk there. The Giants win this one today.
Panthers now favored by a point at FanDuel, at Circa, and at DraftKings. Rod.
Well, for me, this one, I think I'll take the Giants too. I think Baker Mayfield does his usual Baker Mayfield impressions and throws a pick here, throws something there, fumbles the ball there. He was so pumped on last week that they were going to get a win. He was like, "Yeah, we're going to get a win, yeah!" And what happened? You lost. You lost off of a giant field goal, but still. And you look at the Giants here with Saquon Barkley, that streak you were talking about. I believe it's 10 straight. They've bounced back with back-to-back wins. Are these Giants? Giants off a win or won the next 10 and after that. So I'll take the Giants here. I think get themselves a win. Surprisingly, Giants 2-0 to start the season this year.
Yeah, believe me, they go 2-0. People are going to start talking playoffs, and in New York, they're going to act like they're a really good team. Javon?
You're right.
Yeah. They love to act. The Giants fans love to act like they were never bad, like they've never had a bad season. Like all those years, like the Larry Zonka years and all that stuff. Oh, they were, they never happened. The Alex Van, what is his name? Brad Van Pelt, the linebacker. Those years never happened. Never happened. Jovan?
Yeah, so in this one, yeah, dealing with the G-men, I only back them when they're sizable underdogs. So I see them as a favorite. I'm fading them, and just on the strength of that, I'm rolling with the Panthers. I think Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore have big games. Let's just put it that way. Over the top style. You're gonna see a lot of running from receivers in this one.
What are you selling at PickDawgz today?
Selling a 5-pack, 5 plays that I particularly like. I think it's gonna cash. I also got a couple different three packs in there. One for the 1 o'clock games, and then the rest of the slate, 4 o'clock on. So yeah, got a bunch of games, 6 in total. So looking to have another good week.
El Ninos, what do you think of this one? This is like kind of. We're going through these games, and this is not like the sexiest NFL card that they've ever come up with. It's like we got these out of non-divisional games of teams that are just like, haven't been in the playoffs in a while, stuff like that.
Speaking of which, I mean, I'm not even sure about all these big favorites today. I mean, I think even some of those are on upset alert. But I mean, it's a stretch. But I mean, definitely laying a lot of points with some teams I'd be careful with. But this one definitely not a huge spread, as you said. Panthers now favored, so I'd wait till closer to kickoff for this one because I really like the Giants a lot here. I still think they have the better defense. My only concern, of course, here is Christian McCaffrey, but I think if they manage to focus on him and slow him down, they'll give themselves a great shot to win this one at home. So I like the Giants a lot in this one.
What are you selling today?
I got a 5-pack in the NFL and a 3-pack in the MLB. Then I got a couple of plays sold separately as well. So, but definitely best way to go on long-term pass to get all those plays. So a lot of action today after a slow day yesterday.
Next week we got Tampa Bay, Green Bay is one of the games in the regular time slots. We're going to have Philly, Washington, which is always a good game. We've got Detroit, Minnesota, which, I mean, those two teams should play 4 times a year instead of 2. Buffalo, Miami, at Miami. Baltimore, at New England. Those teams hate each other's guts. I mean, next week's schedule absolutely stacked compared to this week. We go to our next next game. And in this one, speaking of the Patriots, they could go 0-2 here if they go into Pittsburgh and somehow can't beat Mitch Trubisky. Mac Jones looked terrible. He looked Trey Lance bad last week against the Dolphins. This guy whining like a little bitch from the get-go. It's like, you are not at Alabama anymore. You are a team leader, and your team is counting on you and crying like a little baby because there's a ticky-tack little thing. This is the NFL. This is not Alabama. You are not going to get those calls on the road in a divisional game. You are not going to get them. It is not going to happen. You can cry all day. You are not going to get that call. And it's like, it looks really, really bad, especially when you can't throw a ball 15 yards. Aside from that, seems like a good guy. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the best defensive first half shows I've seen in the last 10 years. It looked like the Seattle-Denver Super Bowl, the first half of that game against Cincinnati. Al, what do you think of this one?
It's a contrarian play. You know, both teams went under the total in week 1. Obviously, New England significantly under the total. Their game generated just 27 points. Pittsburgh squeaked under the total by 1.5 points, notwithstanding overtime. Game 2's non-division games where both teams went under the total in week 1. They've gone over the total 60.3%. I'm going to look for a surprisingly high-scoring game here and take it over.
You think Bill Belichick says something to Mac Jones, like when he's just whining like a little girl out there? It's just like, hey, man, it's like, you're a quarterback of our team. It's like, you can't do that. It's like, you know, it's like,
I would imagine Javon knows the answer to that.
I'll tell you what, Melvin Ingram didn't give a crap what Mac Jones thought, you know, what he was telling the referees. He didn't care once, you know. I think he just got fired up. Jay Briggs, what do you got?
So, yeah, man, this is how I was looking at this game. Just the Pittsburgh Steelers went into Cincinnati last week and beat a team that went to the Super Bowl. And the following week, they're at home as an underdog to a team that's not amazing. That's interesting to me. So I'm going to go with the Patriots here, man. I think that they're favored for a reason. Mac Jones and that offense, they didn't look great last week, but they weren't just absolutely terrible. They were moving the ball a little bit. They got to the other side of the field and kind of stalled out a little bit. On the other side, man, we still have Mitchell Trubisky. I know the Steelers defense won them that game last week, but they're without TJ Watt this week, and they still have Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. Let's not forget, they still have Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. He just was able to get out the way last week and not lose them that game. But if he had the opportunity, I think he would have. We definitely have 2 great coaches here in this game, 2 Hall of Fame coaches in this game. And I just see the Patriots pulling this one out. I don't see the Steelers having much offense going here today. I think that the Patriots offense looks better today than they did last week, and they squeak out a win here on the road. And Mitch, as you were saying about Mac Jones whining, don't forget Tom Brady was there for a long time doing a lot of whining. So
yeah, but but he earned that
He's
right.
Tom Brady, but I get it. He was doing
He
a lot of
earned
whining
that
too.
right. Tom Brady, when he was in the Super Bowl against the Rams, wasn't whining. He wasn't whining out of the gate. What do you got? What do you got for sale today?
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I got a huge card today in NFL. I really like today's NFL card. I think there's a lot of value. You can get in and get out. I have 10 plays up there in total in the NFL today. I got them broken down into different packages, and I also have some single plays up there for you guys today. So check me out at PickDawgz Premium. Let's make today a winning day. Let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways of getting it done. Some cappers are like, I can only do 3 picks. There could be 700 games today, but I can only do 3 picks. There's 5 games. I got to do 3 picks. You know, it's like, and other guys, I know like Big Al, he just does whatever fits his system. And then, you know, you have Jay is more like a volume guy. So and we have something for everyone, and it all works, you know, if the picks are on. Rod, I know you hate the Patriots, and Mac Jones, the whining. But
I know
we go to this one, and man,
right.
it's like every time I see Minka Fitzpatrick do a pick 6, I think, man, it's like, well, we got 2 first-round picks for this guy, but what are you gonna get that's gonna be better than that with 2 picks? You know, it's like, oh man, I never understand those trades. You know, where you have the guy that, if you get 2 first-round picks, what exactly are you trying to get? You know, what are you gonna get that's better than that?
That's better than that, right? I think we should get them.
Well, the nice thing about it is, if they take away one,
roll the dice with
if they take away one of your picks for tampering, you still have a pick left over. That's the beauty of the whole thing. Anyways,
and this one we did see them in week 1 go into the total, and I think we go into the total again. That the Pittsburgh defense, even without Watt, is still going to be solid, and the Patriots offense is just anemic, and moving the ball against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense going to be a tough day for Mac Jones. And you look at the Patriots, they are 12-3 to that under in their last 15 after scoring 15 points or less in the previous game. Patriots also 23-7 the last 30 to the under on grass. Steelers 9-2-1 their last. What is that? 12 home games versus a team with a losing record. They're 4-0 to that under their last 4 at home. I like the under. I think this is got a grudge game written all over it. Both teams are going to try to run the ball and grind the clock. Give me the under.
Well, Jovan, I thought Stevenson was pretty good for the Patriots last week. I'll at least give him
that. He ain't get enough. He ain't really get enough touches though. No,
it was like it was working. It was working, and they stopped giving him the ball. I mean,
him, Damian Harris. Damian Harris would probably have more touches than him, and them losing Ty Montgomery. Yeah, because they was gonna use him as a receiving back. That kind of it opens up some things for those guys for if you're looking for fantasy backs. But anyway. Yeah, I think in this one stays under. I think this is a defensive game for different reasons. You had ineffectiveness from Mitchell Trubisky, and you're gonna have some more ineffectiveness in this game. While dealing with Bill Belichick, he's faced him before, and I think goose egged him. But when he was in Chicago, but on the other side, just too many mistakes by Mac Jones, and I think that to combat that. It's gonna be a run heavy game for the Patriots, and with all that said, just like Rod said, it's gonna be a lot of clock running, and we're gonna stay under this total, and I think it's gonna be 3s rather than 7s in this one. So, a lot of field goals, not many touchdowns. It only amounts to under.
Alinos.
Yeah, I think we got 2 teams that are better on defense than they're on offense, so I do like the under there, and I'll take a shot with the Steelers. So you want to take the points or the money line? Again, I prefer to play on the under probably, but if I would pick a side, I think the value is on the Steelers.
Head to SoFi Stadium. Looks super nice on TV. I'm not one of those stadium guys, but that one looks really nice. I'm sure the price of a hot dog is is probably in line. I'm sure it's home of the $28 chicken nugget. But we've got the Rams taking on the Falcons in this one. The Rams absolutely blitzed against the Bills on that opening Thursday night. But good news for them, 17-game schedule, and it's only one game, but you can't go 0-2 with both those games being at home, that's for sure. And the Falcons probably not going to get a heck of a lot of calls in a cross-country road game, that's for sure, either against the defending Super Bowl champs. I think it's one thing when Buffalo and they want to come in and show off the Bills, who they think, a small market team that they think probably has a shot to go. That's one thing, but I don't think the Falcons are going to be as fortunate here in Los Angeles. Al, what do you think?
I live here in Los Angeles. I've yet to get out to SoFi, but my buddy just texted me on Friday. He just bought me a $1,700 ticket to see the Cowboys next month at SoFi, on the 50-yard line. So pretty excited. I'll finally get to go and, on my friend's nickel too. So it works.
Best way.
Yeah, I'll let you know if the hot dogs are $28 or not.
I have a feeling they're going to be. We can Google it. We've Googled the snack bars at most of the stadiums. So
I'll treat my friend to lunch since he bought the ticket, but
might cost you more than the $1,700. I'll find out for you.
My gosh, $1,700 for a regular season game. Anyway, I like the Rams here. You've got a defending Super Bowl champ off a blowout loss, and defending Super Bowl champs actually react pretty well off such losses. 67% ATS when they've lost their previous game by 21 points. Take a look also, the previous game was at home on a Thursday night, and home teams off Thursday night blowout losses by 21 or more points. They've gone 18-6 ATS the next week. So I'm going to take the Rams here minus the points.
Jake?
I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling in it. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons here plus the points. I think everybody really, that's how I feel about it. I think everybody humping up on the wrong bad teams as their bad teams to cover it a lot this year. Mine is the Atlanta Falcons, man. They got us one last week. They're going to get us another one this week. I think the Rams offense just isn't the Rams offense from last year. The weapons aren't the weapons from last year. I know they have Cooper Kupp out there, but Allen Robinson didn't look impressive last week. Matthew Stafford looked like he does have some elbow issues going on that they were reporting on in the offseason. He didn't have a fastball. That offensive line was not protecting him at all. And that Saints defense, and the Atlanta defense actually looked pretty good for 3 quarters last week. If you go back and look and watch that game, I'll actually watch a decent amount of it. And I like this Falcons team to cover this point. The line opened at 14. We done dropped to 10. I think we done dropped to 10 for a good reason. I think the Rams win it here at home, but they don't cover this big number. Give me the Atlanta Falcons plus the point.
All right, the pricing not so abusive at SoFi as some of the other stadium. You can get the chicken strips, $17, so not 28 as I predicted. Buffalo tenders, $17, and Rod, you can get chicken nuggets and tater tots for $18.
Nice.
Get some tots.
Dog though, they got a nice stromboli. They got a stromboli dog. They got a hot dog wrapped in mortadella and some salami and wrapped like a stromboli in pizza sauce and wrapped on a nice pizza though with the hot dog in the middle. It's called a stromboli dog at SoFi. So SoFi. It looks really good.
Snack sized bag of Fritos will run you $5. Rod, what do you think of this game?
Well, you look at this game, and I think it's too many points. The Atlanta team last week they rushed for 200 yards, and this Ram defense definitely does not look like the Super Bowl D that we've seen last year. It's only one game, maybe a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, but I just don't see the Giant bounce back here. 10 points, too many. Give me Atlanta plus the points in this one. I think the Rams win it. They were going to buy a touchdown, not 10. Backdoor cover. This got backdoor cover written all over it.
Al, you might want to tailgate because those beers are $17 a pop at this SoFi Stadium. So,
I have a feeling we'll probably, take a taxi to the game. So.
$17 a beer. So, anyways, I know a lot of people do their shopping in the YouTube comments. We got a spammer in there. I've taken care of them. So, I don't know. Apparently, a lot of people do their shopping, or at least people that are spammers feel that people do most of their purchasing decisions in YouTube comments. So they figure they'll place something for sale in there. Rod, what are you selling today? You're the last one of those.
Well, for me, I'm selling. I got 7 NFL plays and 1 MLB play. We had a nice 5-2 NFL week last week. Trying to hit it again this week. I got a nice 10-star NFL game of the week. You can get it singly, or I got my Super Sunday 5-pack of games you can get, or I've got a 2 and 1, which include 2 afternoon NFL games plus my lone play on the ML night game. So you can scoop that up over to PickDawgz.
How much is the 5-pack?
Don't forget to use Win15.
How much is
5-pack? $60 gets you
$60. So if you had an additional
60
17, if you're watching the game at SoFi Stadium, if you haven't been watching today's football out there while you're like getting ready for the Rams game, if you add an additional $17, you can get a Chardonnay pairing with Rod's 5-pack for $17. In addition, Jovan, you can go for the Chardonnay pairing and Rod's 5-pack. Would you like the Chardonnay pairing with
no,
that?
no dice. Hey, but yeah, hey, I'm more the Rams of this one. You know, I'm not the type that that like to lay points in the NFL game. So, but this one's warranted. Extra rest for the Rams. Got embarrassed. Opening night, and I think it's going to be a whole lot of pain for the Atlanta Falcons, who's not going to be able to run the ball like they did against the Saints. And Marcus Mariota, he's not going to get his stuff off, for lack of a better term, like he did in the first game. So give me the Rams.
If you're on the Rams here, you can only hope that Sean McVay doesn't pull what he did against the Texans last year. Al Ninos.
Yeah, sorry.
Rams-Falcons.
Rams-Falcons. I was just talking about these about these big favorites, and yeah, and then no, sorry, I think this is a team that's getting way too many points. The Rams obviously the much better team here, both sides of the ball, but again, Falcons I think hang in this one and cover the spread, so I'll give me the points here. I mean the Falcons cover the spread, so yeah.
El Ninos probably goes with the Chardonnay pairing with the Rod's 5-pack.
I prefer Reds, but yeah.
They don't have that. They have a rosé pairing.
Ooh, no, not for me. No.
$17. Speaking of rosé pairings, we only get 17 chances a year, and we might not even get that many chances to fade Trey Lance this season. Like I said last week on the show, I stood here alone saying I only get 17 chances a year to fade Trey Lance, and I've been waiting 2 years for this moment. And we took him on the money line, the Bears, and it was Bears 495. 49ers -16. The pride and joy of Illinois. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Anyways, Geno Smith is in town, the sheriff, up against the 49ers, who got to be a little salty. But I think some of the things that we saw from Trey Lance in the last 2 preseasons all came into focus in one magical moment on a rainy day at Soldier Field, and that is if this guy is forced to throw the ball more than 3 yards, and if he has to throw the ball over the middle, you are a dead duck. And they will not put their wide receivers over the middle with this guy throwing the football, because he will get them absolutely killed every single time. The only throw he's capable of making is a swing out pass to the wide receiver in hopes that the guy breaks a tackle and takes it to the house to dress up his statistics. The only meaningful thing we've ever seen this guy do on a football field in an NFL uniform. He has several long touchdown passes in the preseason. Every one of them, the yards after catch are the 70-plus portion of it. The actual throw, 3 to 4 yards. He was hideous last week, and they planted his face into the field in Soldier, and the Bears were having a good time, too, doing it. They really didn't like this guy. My guess, I think it's going to rain again in San Francisco today. That's what they're calling for. Oh, boy. He's not a mutter. His mutter wasn't a mutter. His father wasn't a mutter. He is, I don't know. I think Trey Lance eats another face full of dirt. Right? Al, what do you think?
Well, when we did our show, you, me, and Jay on Wednesday, the over-under was sitting at 42. It's now down to 39.5. As I mentioned in the Jets-Browns games, when you get game twos, with over-unders less than 40 points, they're 117 and 61 under the total. So now with this total sitting at 39.5, I'm going to look for it to go under.
I know the 49ers are going to win games. I know Trey Lance is going to have his moments, but I don't care. And I'm going to eat a lot of crap from the commenters and everything. I don't care. I don't care. He's already proved my point. You think Jimmy G's, you think he'll be warming up on the sideline today? Because I didn't even think he knew where his helmet was last week. He was like, they were just like, I don't care. They're like, we don't care if this guy, it's 3rd and 9 against like a ridiculous defense with Roquan Smith was the spy, last week. And they do the quarterback draw down by 10. It's like, it's like we have given up, that this guy's going to complete a pass. Rod, Trey Lance show?
No, I'm not taking no Trey Lance show.
He's like, burn me once, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on me.
No Trey Lance,
in all fairness, so we haven't got to this game. That Justin Fields is way better than anybody thought he was going to be. He's way better.
He's
way better than. I mean, he was the number 1 recruited player out of high school, but I mean, he is a legitimate NFL quarterback. Anyways, back to this gem.
For me, I like the under. You look at Seattle 11-2 in their last 13 to that under fall after giving up 250 yards of passing. Seattle's also 8-2 as the dog to the under, and the 49ers, their last 4 games, 4-0 to the under. And they're also 5-0 to the under. Their last 5 is a favorite. Like I said, I'm going to bet 49er games under the total the rest of the season. I bet you come out ahead.
Jovan?
Divisional game, 17-14 final.
I see these two quarterbacks, and I got to take the under. Quarterback play makes all the difference. And, what you saw in Geno Smith in the first half is it's an outlier. So what you saw him in the second, what you saw him in the second half is more what he is without the picks. I think he throws a couple picks in this one. And Trey Lance, when he throws it over the middle, he's airmailing it, and it's prone to it's going to be prone to go to the opposition. So give me the under in this one.
Al Ninos.
I'm going to agree with the last couple guys. I'm going to take the under as well. 2 awful quarterbacks, and I think they struggle. Probably try to get the running game going a bit. And, I think, as you said, bad weather as well. So I think a lot of stuff pointing to under here. I'll take it.
Seahawks on the money line for me. We saw the Seahawks take advantage of turnovers last week against Russell Wilson. If you can get Russell Wilson to turn the ball over inside the 5-yard line, you sure as heck can get Trey Lance to turn the ball over inside the 5-yard line. Trey Lance is really, really horrible. I've seen some overrated quarterbacks come down the pipe in the last 10 years. Mitch Trubisky traded up to the 2nd overall pick to get him. We saw Jared Goff and we also saw Carson Wentz, like, oh man, we gotta get Wentz. We gotta get it. It's like, all of a sudden, like it's like draft day comes and it's like all these lousy quarterbacks. There's like hysteria to get them all of a sudden. But they can be hysterical all they want about Trey Lance. This guy stinks. And I tell you what, Seattle's super opportunistic and Clappy. He's going to have his guys fired up. They're way outmanned against this Niners team. That Deebo Samuel is really one of the best players in the entire league. And, it's unfortunate that he doesn't have a quarterback that can throw the ball to him because he's going to have to carry that jet sweep that they run to him. And everyone's going to know it's coming because, you have a quarterback that terrible. And by the way, that the one bailout that he would have, just Kittle, he's not playing either. Bad news for the Niners. People are going to be like, you said this about Trey Lance and the 49ers? I can't wait for that. Oh, it's coming. This dumbass. He said, we got the Cowboys taking on the Bengals. The Cooper Rush shows in town. The Cowboys were lousy with Dak Prescott. They were lousy with Cooper Rush. Cooper won a game last year as a starting quarterback against the Minnesota Vikings. So some people have faith in him. A little bit of public doggy here on the Cowboys, but that Bengals secondary is pretty good too. Al, what do you think?
Why do I get the feeling that you had San Francisco with me last season against Arizona in that game? I think wasn't that Trey Lance's?
I never had Trey Lance. I actually, when they drafted Trey Lance, we did the draft live that year on YouTube, and Rod and Chris and I were with me, and I bashed Trey Lance so bad that I got death threats. I got actual death threats. It was how bad I was bashing the pick. I was like, how could you trade up? And John Lynch, so arrogant when he made that. It's so arrogant. I'm Stanford, man. I know everything. It's like, dude, you're an idiot. It's like, let's just say this. You had the lead in the second half of the Super Bowl with 10 minutes left to go, and you couldn't get it done. That's how smart you are. Anyways, they even remember they turned the lights out. It's like, wait a minute, we'll turn the lights out and see what happens. It's like, yeah, we'll try anything. Hey, what if we turn the lights out?
That's a Boston Bruins trick. They try to do that against the Oilers.
Yeah,
so like, we'll turn the lights out. That'll help.
Yeah, turn the lights out.
We'll turn the lights out. Now we can win the Stanley Cup. What?
Maybe Ed Reed will forget it's the Super Bowl.
Old ass building.
Yeah,
that was the old ass building back then. What Bob was saying, the old garden, that was prone to happen.
The old garden.
Oh man,
right? Yeah.
I've been to hockey games at the old Garden.
Did you just have fans?
I've been to hockey games at the old Garden where they have fans on the side of the ice to blow the fog off of it. I've been at that old Garden. Oh my gosh, man! I've sat in seats at that old Garden with the overhang. It's like you can only see half of the ice,
right,
or half the court.
Look like if you lean a little bit over too much, you're gonna fall and die. One of those.
Yep. Oh yeah. But I did see a few Lakers Celtics games at that old Garden, which are like, some of the greatest, things you could possibly see in your life. Larry fucking bad. It's like this bird like steals the ball, throws it up for prayer. Guy next to Larry fucking bad. It's like, oh man, I was in Boston that night when he stole the ball and threw it to DJ, laid it in on the Pistons.
Game 5, 87 Eastern Conference Finals.
The whole city just shook, man, when that happened. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was in Detroit. That was not a fun day for us.
Because Larry always said, he was like, DJ's the best player I've ever played with. He always was saying that.
Yeah, now they had a connection when they played on the court together.
Man, it was ridiculous. All right, back to it. Who's up?
Cincinnati, Dallas.
Dallas.
This may be for me the hardest game on the card. I just, really hate this game. I'm going to take Cincinnati here. Just Dallas didn't score at all last week, and Dak Prescott is out. So when teams score 6 or less points at home to kick off the season, they've gone just 4-19 ATS in week 2. I don't see Dallas bouncing back at all, especially not against a team off such a hard loss like Cincinnati was last week. So I'm going to take Cincinnati minus points.
Jay Briggs, this is your team. You're muted. Still muted. Turn out. Nope, muted. We'll come back. Rod.
This is one of those games that I'm definitely not excited and rushing to the winner to put a bet on. because you see everybody's humping on Cincinnati. You just picked this is one of those games that you look at and you're like, yeah, everybody's going to be on Cincinnati because they saw what Dallas did. Dallas was the only team that didn't score a touchdown in week 1. You think they get one here? I don't know. I'm going to take Dallas plus the points just because. I think they keep it closer than people think. Everybody's thinking that the Cincinnati's going to roll into Dallas and blow them out of the water, and the Dallas will be 0-2, and everybody's going to be crying, and it'll be awful in Dallas. And I don't think they win this game, but I think it's a 4-point win for the Bengals. Give me Dallas plus the points in this one.
The Cowboys don't lose 4-point games. They usually get stomped out of the gym. They usually just get slaughtered. But the thing is, look at this pass rush. Parsons, Lawrence, Barr. They have some pass rushers, and Joe Burrow gets smacked around the pocket more than anybody. I mean, this guy gets killed. Joe Baum, what do you got?
Yeah. Cincinnati's offensive line is like a turnstile. So, and with Michael Parsons leading the charge, I saw what he did last week. I liked what he did last week, and I think Joe Burrow is gonna be on his back a lot. So I was actually contemplating this being the premium play, but I'm on the Cowboys in this one. At the end of the day, I couldn't do it to myself. But I think the hook looms large, no matter how you slice it. And I think Cooper Rush has a representable game in this one. Not half bad. His only other start wasn't half bad neither. So give me the Cowboys.
El Ninos. I think we can hear you now, Jay. We'll go ahead. I'll go, and then we'll come back to
you. Lean to the over here, I think. Yeah, that's how good that lean is. And I would also lean to the Cowboys under, team total under. So it's a weird kind of lean for me, but that's how I'm going. If you want to bet the game, I'd go over the total. But again, I don't think the Cowboys get much offense going, so I like their team total under.
Jay,
can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I'm on my Cowboys today plus the 7.5. Man, on the hook. Listen, we seen Joe Burrow last week just look terrible in that first half. 4 INTs in the first half. Well, coming into this game, guess who led the league last year in turnovers? My Dallas Cowboys. I think we see Joe Burrow continue to struggle early in the season. He tries to force some balls in there to some receivers that are not open. And I think the Cowboys take advantage of this today. I think we get some interceptions early. Michael Parsons coming off that edge. It's something serious, man. Now that it sucks that TJ Watt got hurt, but now it's just a run in between Myles Garrett and Michael Parsons for Defensive Player of the Year. I think Michael Parsons does win that this year. And I think he comes in here and gets 2 sacks. And I see this being a 4-point win for the Bengals as well. I think Cooper Rush has a solid outing here today. Like you said, we seen him last year on primetime go into Minnesota on the road and get a win. I think he can do that here today. I think we lean on our run game today, which we should have been doing last week. We actually were moving the ball on the ground until Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott decided that they want to throw the ball every play. So, yeah, I think our run game gets going today. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott get going. And I like the Dallas Cowboys to cover the 7.5. Even if the Bengals do win by 7 and we got that hook in our back pocket, I like the Cowboys to cover this.
I think the Bengals win by 24 points or more in this game. I think they absolutely slaughtered the Cowboys in this one. I think the offense is on. I think the Cowboys defense is on the field all day long, and I think Cooper Rush. A lot of people saw him have that 300-yard game against the Vikings last year. Push came to shove, for the Bengals last week. They played as bad as you could possibly play. They had 2 shanked kicks by the best kicker, one of the top 5 kickers in the entire league, to lose that game against the Steelers in a game that they had turned the ball over and gift wrapped it to the Steelers, in the first half. TJ Watt had an interception. Minka had the pick 6. I mean, this Cowboys team, not a good team. And my guess is they'll be calling to fire the coach very shortly here as well, on top of all this stuff. It's just, this is a mess. They have one guy who you could possibly see as the target here in Dalton Schultz. And you think the Bengals know that. It's like we know it, they know it. It's like the Bengals. I mean, we're talking, all the Cowboys stars on the pass rush and stuff. Bengals went to the Super Bowl, and I don't care. It's like you go to overtime. You're in Kansas City. You got Patrick Mahomes who's got the ball. He gets a touchdown. You're out, and you pick him off. You think Cooper Rush is going to beat him? I don't think so. I said the same thing about Trubisky last week, but they did actually come back and had him dead to rights twice. Missed the field goal. I would bet that McPherson would hit that field goal. I mean, if you get live in game that he's going to hit that field goal, my guess is everyone in the world would have been on that both times. But I don't know. There's a reason the line is going up. Broncos taking on the Texans. Texans held their own against the Colts last week. Now they got to go to Mile High. The Broncos, oh, man, another one. I mean, similar to the Bengals. It was like they had their chances. They're on the 1 yard line. They're crossing the goal line, and the ball comes out twice. Not only did they have a chance to win, they would have covered. Twice it happens to them. Now they're home. Boy, all those guys, I also thought that the Broncos made some stupid penalties on defense. That Bradley Chubb.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Al, what do you think? You think Denver goes home to the altitude and takes out some frustrations on the Texans in Russell Wilson's first game as a Bronco at home?
Oh, I was just looking at how many games have landed, people are talking about the hook, and also I'm looking at how many games have landed within a half point or pushed over the last 2 years. 21 out of 618 have either pushed or come within a half point. So, 3.3% doesn't happen very often. As far as this game goes, obviously Denver got a lot of money last Monday night, and they let a lot of people down with that game. I don't know how many of those people are going to rush in to lay double digits this week, but I would lay the double digits. Teams off Monday night, upset road losses, have bounced back to cover 61.7% at home if their opponent was off an ATS win. So I'm going to take a look at Denver minus the 10 points here.
Jay Briggs.
I'm going to agree with Big Al, man. I'm going with the Denver Broncos today here at home. I was on the Texans last week. I thought that was just a good spot for them. This is a terrible spot for them on the road, Mile High. High altitude early in the season. Conditioning might still be an issue. I just think that Denver rolls here today. They win by 2 touchdowns or more. Russell Wilson gets the cooking back at home. A lot of people might be selling their stock, but it was just a bad spot, man. On the road, prime time, facing in that building, like it's just a bad spot for them last week. The Broncos definitely improved this year, and they get this win here today by more than 10. Give me the Broncos.
Rod.
I'm going to be in this one. Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to take the Broncos here. Look, the Houston defense gave up 340 yards of passing, and now you're going to get against this Broncos team who threw for 330 yards. I think it's going to get lit up like a Christmas tree. So, yeah, I'll take the Broncos. I'll take the extended line. I think they win by 3 touchdowns. Give me minus 20.5. I don't actually have that number on you, but I'm looking for it right now. I think they win by 3 touchdowns and just blow the doors off of Houston in this one. Give me that by a lot.
Yeah, I'm on the under in this one. I like the Houston Texans on defense. Lovie Smith. I like what he's doing with that D. Denver at home. I don't think the Texans offense is gonna do much of anything in this one. They might get held to single digits in this one. So I think this total is just a little bit too much for my liking. I'll take the under.
Al Ninos.
Yeah, I'll agree with that under, and I think again just too many points. I know Denver at home, they could blow them out, but I'm not laying the points. Definitely not. If I were to pick a side, I'd take the points, and I guess my stronger play is on the under here.
All right, we move to our next game. Getting there. Got the Raiders and the Cardinals. Raiders, I don't know. They made the stops against the Chargers. They made all the stops they needed to. They just couldn't take advantage of it offensively. Devontae Adams had that beautiful catch, fingertip catch. I don't know how they do that, but he did it. It wasn't enough. Al, what do you think?
Well, last week, obviously, Arizona had the worst defensive performance, allowed 44 points to Kansas City. But when you take a look at how teams do that have extraordinarily bad performances on defense like that in week one, they typically bounce back with at least lower scoring games in week two, 23-7 under the total if the over-under line was at least 43 or more points. So that's the way I'm going to look here. You've got a very high total here, 51.5. I'm going to take a look at this game under the total.
Jay Briggs, we know you got a man crush on Kyler Murray. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I kind of do have a man crush on Kyler Murray, but I'm going to have to go away from my man today, man. I'm going with the Raiders here in this one. The Arizona Cardinals just got completely dominated last week by the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you go back and look at the stat book, man, the stat book don't even do no justice to how much that they got dominated. A lot of their points and a lot of the yardage and all that good stuff came in garbage time once the Chiefs are on the sideline smacking ass and hot-fiving and all that. So I like the Raiders to come in here today. And I think this Raiders offense is just as a high power as that Chiefs offense, man. And with all the weapons they have over there, man, with Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow. I really like this Raiders team. I'm high on this Raiders team this season. I think they take care of Arizona here and they win by a touchdown or more. I'm going to lay the points with the Raiders.
Rod?
And for me in this one, I like the under. The Cardinals, sure, they had a rough first week, but they bounced back real good. You look, they're 13-3 to that under following an ATS loss. They're also 12-5 to the under, 17 following a double-digit loss at home. So I think the Arizona defense comes to play today, and I just don't trust the Raiders offense. We've seen they had the chances to put the Chargers away, and that offense just didn't do it. Raiders 5-0 to the under their last 5 games after allowing less than 90 yards rushing in the previous game. So the Raiders D is going to come and play as well. So I like the under in this one. Give me the under. 52 is too many points.
Javon?
Yeah, this is just a total where it's just too big for my liking with two offenses that look kind of disjointed for different reasons. Arizona, they don't have their top dog, DeAndre Hopkins. And, ever since he's been going since last season, their offense hasn't really been the same. Look on the other side. I think it's going to take a little bit used to getting into Josh McDaniels' offense and how he likes to do things. Derek Carr, he's a little bit too locked in on his guy from Fresno State, and they're trying to reconnect and, having 17 targets. Yeah, it's not a good thing when you have guys like Hunter Renfrow who could move the chains easily for you and you're trying to, go deep all the time. So I don't like that from that offense. So I think the under's the play here.
Alan Niels?
I'm gonna go over. Obviously, I'm rooting for my Raiders today, but I don't think I like them as much as Jay does today. I think they win this game, but again, I think they're more the type of team that could kind of hang into a lot of games with their offense, but I still can't trust that defense to cover many spreads. So it's hard for me to lay more than a field goal with them, and I'll be taking the points here with the Cardinals as well.
The Raiders always seem to me like a 33-31 type team, 32-30, 23-21. That's where they play, and that's where they live. In fact, 6 of the last 7 regular season games that they've played have been decided by a lot less points than this, than what you're seeing today. Most of them in 2, 3, 4 range. So it's just a lot of points to be laying with a Raiders team that plays in a lot of close games, including last week. If they were the favorite and by this many points, the game was decided by less than this. Aaron Rodgers hates his receivers, guts. He can be kind of a jerk about it too. I Meanwhile, Justin Fields looks good and the Bears defense looks good. Normally, man, you see Aaron Rodgers against the Bears and it's just an automatic check mark. But I don't know. The Bears showed some moxie last week, driving Trey Lance's face into the Soldier Field turf time and time again. Really, I think they took it personally. That Roquan Smith, man, this guy can play too. And, I don't know, 10.5 points Sunday night at Lambeau. We know how this usually plays out. Al?
Yeah, I mean, you say automatic when you take it's pretty much the case when you take a look at how Green Bay has done versus the Chicago Bears. If Green Bay was off an ATS loss in the previous game, they're 13-0 ATS their last 13, 19-1-1 ATS their last 21. NFC North division battles. When you get one team off a loss, the other team off a straight up win, typically the team off the loss does cover the spread in these NFC North division games, 66-41 ATS. I think you have to look at Green Bay in this situation here. It's really Green Bay or nothing. Some people might be, want to see Aaron Rodgers actually be able to score with his new set of receivers before they take the plunge and lay 10 points. But I'm going to lay the 10 points. I'm going to take Green Bay.
I don't gotta see them score it. I seen last week that they're incapable of doing so, and all I heard all offseason when how much he hates his wide receivers, and that's really, hey, when you need to depend on those guys to get your points in the end zone, and you don't really like them, I can't lay points with you. I'm gonna take the Chicago Bears here plus the points. The Bears really showed me something last week, man. They showed that they are, with the new coaching staff, they showed that they are a more together team. I think that they really believe in what Justin Fields is selling. And I'd like them to cover their spread here. The last time that we seen these two teams play each other, Aaron Rodgers was running off the field telling the Bears he owns them. I don't think that bodes well here with this Bears team today. I think this game is a lot closer than a lot of people are thinking. And I'm going to take the Bears plus the points. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Bears outright them boys tonight on primetime football. I'm serious.
There you have it. Well, of course, we'll be live at halftime, so you guys can let Jay Briggs know.
You can let me hear.
Either you called it. No, we've seen the Bears up by. I think in one of these games, the Bears was up. Weren't the Bears up by like 20 points? And they like carted Rodgers off the field. He comes back on and beats them and covers. It was like, yeah. Rod. Our Aaron Rodgers
definitely
Sunday,
too many points.
By the way, our primetime Aaron Rodgers games are always the best games. They're always the best. Either he's getting beat by 100 or he's up by 100. It's like they're always the best halftimes of the Aaron Rodgers game. Always. Rod?
If you look at Aaron Rodgers in that interview after last week's game, and he was a little bit stern. He was like, "Yeah, they're young," and we'll give him a little bit of a leash, but you could tell he was ready to rip someone a new one after that one. So you know that they'll become a little bit. The wide receivers will definitely be a little more prepared today, but I don't think it's going to help. They still can't catch the ball. They're still dropping the ball all over the place. So you have to catch the ball to make the catch and come running along. And I think just Aaron Rodgers is going to get more frustrated as it goes on. I'm going to agree with Jay. Give me the Bears on the money line here. I think that defense is strong. I think the Bears defense gets a nice pick six and gets some scores. And I think they win it outright. Give me the Bears. Changing the guard here. Give me. I
have one athlete bobblehead on my entire set. Aaron Rodgers. Says. Who it says in the little screen, who wanted to kick that field goal? That was the best on Jeopardy. The contestant writes, he's like the guest host. The guy writes on the screen, it's like, whose idea was it to kick that field goal? It's like, I have no idea. He goes, it wasn't mine. Jovan, what do you got?
Yeah, I think that Aaron Rodgers, he's in a position where if he can, he's going to run it up on the Bears. So, with that said, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one. On the other side, I think that the Bears, even though they have one, in my estimation, one of the worst offenses in the league, I think they can get their share of points, to bring this over this total of 41.5. So give me the over.
El Ninos.
Yeah, I'll agree with that over here. I just think the Bears defense not quite what it used to be, and Yeah, it said Rodgers made that statement, and I think he's gonna try to back it up. I mean, no matter how much he hates his receivers or all that, still think he can make most receivers work, and I think he does that a little bit today. Which is why this number still feels a little bit too big to me. My gut says just take the points, but it's hard to go against all these trends and that statement, and he will be by far the best player on the court, on the field still. So if he's capable of pushing that number up, I'd be pretty impressed here. But I like the over better here, I guess. I on my gut says take the points, but I like the over.
All right, so quick around the horn here. We're not going to spend too much time on it. It's still Major League Baseball. We've got 2 weeks left to go in the regular season, maybe a little bit more. Is it 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that? About 15 games left to go in the Major League Baseball regular season. And we're just going to go around the horn one time to everybody if they have anything to say about one or more games out there. No fat jokes about Alek Manoah either. All right, you can say a couple of those if you want. Al, do you think you have a conflict of interest with Jason Alexander pitching against the Yankees since he was technically the assistant to the traveling secretary?
I don't know. Anyway, I'm a little bit surprised. I'm looking at the Seattle Angels. I'm a little bit surprised by the money move in this game. Seattle, open -120. They're now +113. All the money's gone on Reed Detmers and the Angels in this game. I like Seattle. I'm just looking to see if anyone is out to try to see what's going on here. But yeah, I like Seattle here. Gonzalez in his career versus the Angels, 10-3 with a 3.47 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. So I'm gonna, now that they're an underdog here, I'm gonna take Seattle.
Jay Briggs, anything on this MLB card? You got some -350s and.
Yeah, I like 2 games here in this MLB card today. I don't have no premium for MLB today, but if I did, it would have been one of these 2. I've been burnt 2 days at the well, man, messing with the Marlins. I'm going to go back to him today, man. My boy Sandy Alcantara on the mound today. I think he gets it done. I think they win on the money. It's a high 190. Later run line, man. Anibal Sanchez on the other side. Sanchez has looked decent in his last few outings, but I think he returns to form today. And the Marlins get a few runs, and they can get it on the run line today for the Marlins. And I like the Red Sox on the run line today. You got Mitch's favorite pitcher on the mound for the Royals. And I think that the Red Sox get to Chris Bubich today. Give me the Red Sox on the money line.
Son of a Bubich to you, Rod.
Couple for me in this one. Rodriguez is out for Seattle. Julio, so that's a big chunk of their runs. That's why I think the big line move in that game. No one I like. I'm gonna fade Alek Manoah here. No fat jokes. It's I think the Orioles
Conditioning issues.
It's Sunday game, and it's just one of those. I think it's a solid close game early, and Jay's bullpen gives it up late. I know they've been good recently, but I think Baltimore gets to them today and gets them a win. They don't get swept. Give me the Orioles here today. Too much value. I'll take that. There's too much plus money here in that one. I'll take the Orioles in that one.
Back when I used to smoke cigars, I used to go to a place in Toronto for my Cubans. Yitz's Delicatessen. It was a Jewish delicatessen / cigar store. Telling you get a box of Cohibas and a Reuben that'll knock your socks off. Jovan, I'm sure Manoah is a regular there.
Yeah, I'm on the Orioles with this big plus money to avoid the sweep. That's it. That's all I got.
Al Ninos, Jacob deGrom is -490 today.
Gotta lay it. No, but I like the Rays -1, Red Sox -1. That's how I'm gonna go.
I like the over in the Brewers-Yankees game. Bernie the Brewer going to burn a hole in those pants today. The Brewers just 1 game now behind the Padres in the loss column. Then I like that over, and I also like the over in the Guardians against the Twins. Joe Ryan has kind of come off of his game, and Cody Morris, this guy, no bueno, you know. So I like the over in that one too. Any parlays? Any props? Anything, Al? Any sage words of advice to our audience?
I'm going to probably look at 3 unders today in the NFL. Cleveland Jets under. It's now down to 38.5. New Orleans Tampa Bay under the 43.5 or 44 if you're at DraftKings. And then the under in the Seattle San Francisco game under 39.5.
Jake?
I got a parlay for y'all today, man. I'm playing this one today too. I'm going with the New England Patriots laying the points. I'm going with the Denver Broncos laying the points. I'm going with the Vegas Raiders laying the points. And we're going to go with Indianapolis laying the points. 14 parlay. Let's pick up some money today.
And for me, we're going to go. We're going to take Detroit on the money line, Giants on the money line, and finish it up with the Bears on the money line.
Jovan?
Yeah, Seattle, San Fran under. Pats, Pittsburgh under. Houston, Denver under.
El Niños?
I think the Giants, the Cardinals with the points, and the under in that Seahawks 49ers game.
Trey Lance under 184.5 yards passing. Trey Lance under 40.5 yards rushing. I'll take the Seahawks money line with those two. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. Make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of you. And I will see you guys at about probably about 2:15, 2:30 with Jay Briggs. We'll be talking half times. I think we only had one halftime last week in those early NFL games that we didn't win. We hit every other game. So be sure to tune in. And then in the primetime games, either Jay or I has given a winner on every single show. So sure to tune in. Free money at halftimes. You guys know I'm a game watcher. So we will see you then. Yeah, we're a game watcher. So we will see you there at halftime. And let's win some money. Other than that, we'll see the rest of you guys tomorrow morning. Make it a winning day. And thanks, everyone. Be sure to smash that like button.